Good afternoon, race fans. Good evening, where most of the folks in this race are. I don't know what time it is in Australia, but I do know it is Sunday, and it is time for Same Car Sunday this week, featuring the beautiful, magnificent, fast and fun Porsche GT3 2022. There's the GT3 RS. The 2022 model will probably run you about 180,000 pounds. That is around 230,000 American dollars. It boasts a 518 horsepower engine. It is an extremely capable race car, and one that is a favorite of a lot of drivers in Gran Turismo. This present iteration, at least for this race, is going to have the sport soft tires on it, as opposed to racing tires the racing tires we usually put on our Same Car Sunday cars. I guess it was just because this is such a stable, fun, easy car to drive that our esteemed team principal decided it was a good idea to maybe make it a little bit more challenging and put on the sport tires rather than the racing tires, and so far the strategy has played out rather well. We've had a lot of good competition, more than a few offs, but nothing to make it too harsh on the drivers. We have enough talent on the grid, and we don't worry about too many of them making huge mistakes. So anyway, here we go. I believe we may still be in practice because I haven't seen any qualifying times come by yet. So let's go over the track since we seem to have a little time to kill. Great. So the track at Suzuka today, we are on the East course, which is considerably shorter than the regular course. The East course is about 2.25 kilometers. That comes out to 1.4 miles to those of us who still use the King's Foot as our measuring standard. It is a course that is generally well liked by drivers. Very difficult course to pass on for a lot of people, including yours truly. It certainly has a lot of challenges to throw at drivers. It is world recognized, particularly because it is unusual. At least the main course is a figure eight. This one here is a standard course. It's kind of like a semi-oval. The East course has some really uninteresting names for its corners. First corner is called, oddly enough, First Corner. So nice work, Honda. The next series of corners is called the Snake. It's a little bit more creative, but only a little. The final curve, the penultimate corner, is called the Anti-Banked Curve. And I'm starting to get the impression that maybe we ought to come up with our own names for these. If you have any in the chat that you'd like to suggest for me, feel free. If anybody's watching, please just jump on in and put in your suggestions for corner names. I will probably say them out loud, unless it'll get me in trouble with my wife. And the last curve is called, wait for it, Last Curve. That's right. I don't know if it was all tongue-in-cheek, just for the sake of their reputations. Let's just say it was all tongue-in-cheek and be done with that. So anyway, let's watch practice or qualifying, depending on what this happens to be. It does say final lap, so yes, there we go. Finally, we have some evidence that this actually is qualifying. So Ginger Ninja's on his final lap. He has come in second on the grid. He will be on the front row with what looks to be Airport Hobo, unless somebody can pull off a miracle and take his spot. Mick Not Dundee has come in third, fairly close behind Ginger Ninja, actually very close behind Ginger Ninja, 25 hundredths of a second gap. Kobayashi Maru not far behind Mick D. And Splatter not very far behind him. So we're ready. Qualifying is done. It's time to jump over to the race. And here are the numbers for you to peruse. With all 5 drivers, we've had one drop. Unfortunately, somebody had to work tonight. They're in, excuse me, in the UK. So we are just going to have to do it with 5 drivers. On the plus side, I don't have to go to another panel, so that makes my life easier. And pardon the bonging, I didn't have time to mute my silly PlayStation sounds. All right. While we are waiting, excuse me, let's go to last week's results. Here it is. So Travis, aka the airport hobo, has run away with it in terms of at least last week's race, and has also jumped to the top of the standings, as we shall see momentarily. Jester, our friend Mick D. Not Dundee from the land of Oz, came in second, also in both races. Third position, race 1, you see is Marky B. Mark had a splendid race after a horrible start, featuring a massive spin that was probably about a 920-degree spin. I've rarely seen one quite so epic in this game. Splatter in third, or excuse me, Splatter in fourth. He had a pretty decent race that was basically boggled by his many penalties, which there were many throughout the field. Some really horrific ones. I think I saw a 2.5-second penalty. It was just a penalty-filled race, lots and lots of red blotches above the cars. Glava came in last. He had some trouble staying on track. Race 2, of course, Travis, Jester, just same results as the previous race. Glava put his big boy boots on and came back to finish third, so he got the last podium spot in the second race. Ginger Ninja, his race was sort of up and down. He had a lot of flashes of brilliance, but ultimately ended up in fourth. Splatter in fifth, and Marky, who had a disastrous race, he'd be the first to tell you, came in sixth. But if you look at his fastest lap time, 3/1000ths off of the winner. So overall, not a terrible result. On pretty much every other measure, sure, but in terms of speed, he was rocking it. Marky B had the fastest lap in the first race with 1:10.361, which is a very clear fastest lap. So here are the standings as they run currently. As you can see, Splatter still in the lead, but he is now tied with Airport Hobo, who had just 2 solidly brilliant weeks. And he played his joker and got the fastest lap. So a 208 score for round 3, which is astronomical. And you end up winning both races and getting fastest lap in one of them. Let's see. Mick D is in third behind the 2 first place leaders. Scruffy Tough Mark B has 4th position locked up, and he's been there for a while. Glava in 5th. We have Simon, Ginger Ninja, who missed the first round, but in 2 rounds he has pulled his way all up to 6th. And if you notice, he had jumped 2 positions since the previous week. Justin Kobayashi Maru had to miss last week's round, so he dropped 4 positions. And to round it out, we have Giant Solo, Will, Push P, Ryder Sanye, Nathan Pritchard, who came in for 1 race, Big Easy, who came in for the first round, Matt MacGyver's here for 1, myself, who hasn't been able to race in this series at all, and Arnas Loginovas, who's at the bottom, who hasn't raced 1 either. So we're just waiting for the host to start the race. Let's see where are we at here. We've already looked at last week's results. Let's go on back to the track. I'll tell you a little bit more about good old Suzuka. So it says outside the Formula One Grand Prix, which everybody knows, and I'm no longer watching because I'm an American and I'm very bitter about the Andretti decision. Says here it also hosts a 10-hour endurance race. It's time to spectate. Here we go. Race is about to start. And lots of motorcycle races. Is a cornerstone of the FIM Endurance World Championship. All right, it's enough chatter. Let's see what they have to say here on the track. False starts are penalized, as we say every week. All right, feeder off the brake. Here they go. Airport Hobo gets a lousy start. That puts Ginger Ninja on top. Mick D in second. Kobayashi Maru through, and Airport Hobo is dropping back. He may have had a false start. And Splatter just trying to find a way around him. Outside doesn't work for him. So coming into the snake, Airport Hobo has brought himself back up a notch. And Airport Hobo looking to get in on Justin. Can't make it work. Tough place to pass here at the snake. Very narrow, and there's so much movement in front of you. It's just not a great place to try to get around unless you can firmly establish your position well ahead of the corner. And back onto the front straight. This is a very short version of this track. Gran Turismo likes to do dailies here with factory cars, just standard road cars, not stuff like this. It's not hypercars, you know, that could withstand the rigors of an actual Grand Prix track. But it's a fun course. It's a quick course. It's an anything can happen course, and it promises for the 20 minutes that will be on this first round, or this first race, excuse me. There promises to be a lot of close racing, and Simon hits the cones, goes off into the gravel, and drops a couple of spots. So that puts Mick in the lead, Mick D. Not Dundee, as we like to call him. And he has embraced that moniker. We're so happy to see that. I was going to stop using it because I thought maybe we'd just done it a little bit too much. And lo and behold, I believe it was week before last, or was it last week? It was last week. Mick put a decal on that said, "Not Dundee," with a crocodile. And just warmed our little hearts. So thanks for that, Mick. We will embrace the Mick D, Not Dundee, as much as you have. You are a joy to have on track, son. All right, Airport Hobo's scrambled up to third place. Using Justin's slipstream to hopefully draw himself into the first turn, or first corner, as they like to call it here at the East Circuit. Now they're properly knotted up going into the snake. Justin's defending heartily. Catches a good bit of sand. Let's go back up to the front. Mick's looking slidey, but in control. Justin's picked up a penalty. So he's cut a corner in that brave defense he was making against Airport Hobo. This is looking very slippery. Could have dirty tires at this point. All right, he serves his time. Airport Hobo's slings on past into the first corner. We come a high-speed corner to start with, and one that decreases radius rather abruptly. And if you're not prepared for it, it'll catch you out. Even if you are prepared for it, if you're not paying attention, it'll catch you out. So Travis has jumped into the lead. If you call second position the lead, he's the lead over Justin. Mick D is in the actual lead, 2.7 seconds ahead, thanks to a good bit of noggin bashing there at the back. Now Splatter is getting up on Justin within about a half a second or so. And he has a lot of slipstream, but so does Kobayashi Maru. Looks inside and thinks better of it. Around the first corner, he's like, nah, here's a better spot to get inside. Ah, now he owns the line and snatches second, and an outstanding move. And now we have a race behind Mick. But this is doing nothing more than playing to Mick's advantage. Mick is so happy to see this going on behind him. You certainly miss out on the fun of close racing when you have that big of a lead. But having a big lead is consolation in and of itself. Alright, so Splatter's back in the mix, though he is drawing back a little bit from his previous gap of about a half second. He's darn near a second behind now, and he is a second behind now. Simon, Ginger Ninja, trying to find his way back to the pack, which, if this battle continues for second place, seems eminently doable. Alright, so Airport Hobo is sizing up Kobayashi Maru. Let's get on the bumper cam here and see what life is like from his point of view. And picks up half second. Justin would be smiling had he not gone off to the gravel. My goodness, so Kobayashi's in the gravel. So Splatter slings past. Simon's still in fifth. Coming up on Kobayashi Maru. So that was a slight hiccup. Yeah, he will have to recover from. But while we do feel bad for that little off that Justin had, it's a good time, now that we're paying attention to him, to check out his livery, which is newish. You notice it says Assetto Corsa Competizione, which we decidedly are not racing today. But Justin absolutely loves Assetto Corsa. So he wants to bring it to GT7 and rub our noses in it. To which I say, well done. Because ACC's an awesome game. Sorry, PD, but yeah, you gotta praise the praiseworthy. Alright, Mick D. Not Dundee, 6 seconds ahead, looking very comfortable. But we've got about 12 minutes to go, and then some, before this is actually a race. And 6 seconds can disappear in 12 minutes, as we have seen time and again. Now, Ginger Ninja heads into the snake with about a half second behind him, Justin, maybe a little more. Justin's getting real slidey on those tires. Both of these gentlemen are using controllers, so if they look a little, let's say, a little rapid in their motions, it's because they're on the sticks. That will not prevent them from racing cleanly, for sure. Let's get on the tail cam and see how this looks. And it looks pretty close. Getting Justin's car. Let's see what he's facing in his mirror. Ah! Simon's trying to get into his head with the flashing. Justin says, I don't care. I'm just here to race. But he gets wide. Ninja's looking on the inside, then the outside. Looks like he tagged him a little bit. It didn't throw him off, so I may be mistaken. Let's see, these guys are close. Through the snake. Don't expect much passing here. Any driver tries to poke his nose in, or God forbid dive bomb on one of these corners going into the last corner, it could be catastrophic. So better to keep your powder dry and find a wide spot in the road. Still flashing those lights. What is up? I don't think Justin's done anything that would cause Simon to be irritated. Certainly, I've never seen that happen before with them. These guys do like each other and respect each other. So I doubt that's what it is. I think Simon's playing with his head big time. Simon is nothing if not funny. So, good battle going on back here. Let's see what's happening in the front. So, Mick has reduced his lead from over 6 seconds to about 4 1/3, 4 1/4 seconds. So, Airport Hobo is inching forward, narrowing that gap just one little tick at a time. And we are on lap 13 on a, what is this, a 2 1/4 kilometer course. And our lap times are running around 52, let's call it. So that translates out into, I'm going to just say, right around 30 laps, give or take. I'm not great at math in my head at the moment. So we are not that close to even halfway through the race. And Mick D's gap lessens by the minute. Airport Hobo's gap to Splatter, conversely, widens every moment. But Splatter's still comfortably in third. Again, another battle behind doesn't hurt. Certainly doesn't hurt Rob's chances. All right, and the gaps are widening between cars. We often see it in the middle of a race. In this situation, it's not so much about tire and fuel savings as it just is about relaxing and finding your rhythm. So hopefully it works out as it usually does and gets more exciting toward the end of the race. Oh, hi Simon, you're in the race now, but thanks for jumping on the chat real quick. Let's see. All right, keep pushing, Simon. I know you're no longer on the chat, as you can't be, since you're in a car. I hope you're not on the chat. That would certainly explain why you went off. So, McD Not Dundee is pulled up another second from Airport Hobo. I don't know if that means he had a moment. Let's take a look at his lap times. No, he seems to be pretty solid. He's got one extraordinarily quick time, then the rest of them are in the 52-second range, 52 1/3, thereabouts. Splatter is knocking down 53s in spite of having that long, drawn-out battle in the first few laps. Kobayashi Maru is starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Going down to the low 53s the last couple of times we went around. Simon, kind of all over the place. He has dropped to 52.8 for his one of his faster laps. Don't know what the first 6 look like. But he had a 55 on lap 16, so clearly had a moment. Mick, what are you doing, Mick? You dropped another second. Airport Hobo is going to be within 4 if he keeps up this pace. Last lap a 52.6. Mick's a 52.9. Oh, look what he did. Mick D. Not Dundee dropped a 51.9 on lap 14. So he has brought his best shoes to the dance. So a little more than halfway through the race. About a 4-second lead. Could hold up. Airport Hobo is quick. But Airport Hobo also has competition coming up behind him if somebody can make up that 12-second gap. Sorry, 13 now. What's happened to Splatter that's causing him to fall back? Well, he is just coming into the snake, so I don't know what slowed him down. Kobayashi Maru's now working on him. Simon's now 4 seconds in arrears to Kobayashi Maru. All right. Do a little vocal exercise there. I hope you heard that. All right, Simon is jamming him on right here because Kobayashi Maru must have had a bit of an off. Oh man, speaking of a big off, what the heck, Simon? Man, he goes off right into turn 1, and now he's just putting on a slideshow. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him there. We're going to do the long replay. Okay. Yeah, he got wild out of the last curve. All right, going into the first corner, he's really unsteady. Wow. Oh, man. All over the place. What was that all about? We'll have to ask him about that after the race is done. Mercy. All right. Well, he's still sliding. Goodness gracious. Okay. He is, at this moment, apparently just showing off. Maybe he thinks the race is over for him. I don't know. With just a couple minutes to go. Okay, so my math was crap. Yes, it usually is. I think we're going to get maybe 23 out of this. Maybe. Yeah, I thought sure we're going to get a lot more than that, but no. Mick just really hanging on to that lead, although he's going to take a hit for that moment he had getting up on the rumble strip. You get up on the curbs and start sliding like that on the first turn, you're going to lose a lot of time. Let's see what Airport Hobo is managing to do here. It hasn't really accrued to his benefit much. He might have had a moment himself. See what Rob's doing back here. Well, he has been losing time to Airport Hobo, but gaining time between himself and Justin. So he's going to be fine. Again, barring any unforeseen moments, incidents, circumstances, bobbles and offs. All right. So Simon went ahead and let Airport Hobo by. Fair play. Mick D, Not Dundee, now right around 3 seconds. Airport Hobo looks like he might have had to slow down for that first curve. And let's see if a replay will garner anything. All right, let's get in Airport Hobo's car and see what happened. No, he just slowed down. I think he's worried about his tires a little bit. Doesn't have any damage, nothing like that. Oh, but Mick has picked up a half second. That's going to help if you're Airport Hobo, because it happens on the straight. It's an ugly place for a penalty. It happens just before you enter the straight, and that scrubs off tons of speed. So now the gap has dropped to under 2 seconds, and it's falling quickly. But Airport Hobo got a little too excited and went too quick into the first corner. And all of that benefit he had gained is wiped out. And Mick D is just clapping his hands, boxing that steering wheel like a kangaroo. And get in there, Mick. Look at you on your final lap coming around the last curve, which is called last curve. Gets fresh past the penalty lines, gives us a nice little shake of the tail. Thanks for the twerk, mate. Airport Hobo in second. Splatter coming through the snake. Ooh, somebody got loose up there. I think that's Simon probably doing donuts. Yep, there he is. Jumps off, lets everybody pass. Good man, Simon. That's why we love you. And Splatter crosses the finish line on the podium. A good result, as Splatter is tied for first place with Airport Hobo. So a second and a third, that's not going to drop him back too far. And if he can get a better result next race, you never know. Congratulations, Jester, a.k.a. Mick D. Not Dundee, for a clean race and a splendid result. All right. Wow. All right, that was a good one. There were a lot of gaps, but it ended up being a pretty exciting race nonetheless. Certainly, at the end was a surprise. Had Airport Hobo not taken the first curve too briskly, let's say, he probably could have given him a run for his money there at the end. But a great race, well run by all, and even by Simon, because Simon gave us a bit of a show here. No, I am not getting in this race. Go away. I am not supposed to be able to get into this race. I don't have a qualifying car. Here we go. We're spectating. Okay, what's wrong? Uh-oh. We have got a problem, mate. Ah. Oh, shit. And the problem is me. Okay. Yeah, problem is me. I'm trying to exit this course. Oh, dear. Okay, I may have to jump. Out. There we go. All right. We're good now. Wow. I do not know what just happened there. Apparently, I am challenged when it comes to PlayStation technicalities. All right, everybody's in the car, patiently waiting in the pits. And by everybody, I mean 2 people. We need 2 people to tick in. So that may have been a glitch. Maybe it wasn't entirely my fault, though that would be a huge surprise. All right, we got Mick back in. Airport Hobo's in. All right, come on, guys. 2 more. I know you're not feeling well today, Rob, but you came in third. No reason you can't do it again. I think Lewis has won a couple of races with the flu. So no excuses, mate. Jump in. Besides all that, he's our lobby host, so there's that. All right, let's see what's going on here. So, Suzuka East. Suzuka East, one of the preferred courses, let's call it, for Gran Turismo daily races. And as I said earlier, it's a great one for road cars, particularly low-powered road cars. Some of the some of the best races that I've had and seen here at Suzuka involved minis, old and new minis, sometimes simultaneously, and Mazda MX-5s, Miatas for those of us in the States. All right, we're still sitting in the pits here. Not sure why. It says practice is taking place, but nobody's actually doing that. So let's take a little break while these folks relax on the pits. And let's see, learn a little bit more about this here track. So this all started in 1961 by one Soichiro Honda. Don't know if you're familiar with that name. He's only the guy who created the Honda company and became famous for its motorcycles. All right, the race is going to start shortly. In 1961, a Dutchman by the name of John Hugenholtz, who had designed the Zandvoort circuit in the Netherlands, there it is, got a telegram out of the blue, and it read simply, "I'm building a circuit. Please come to Tokyo. Signed, Soichiro Honda." And that's how it all started. The designer of Zandvoort came out, met Mr. Honda. They laid out the ideas for what kind of a circuit they might want. And the rest is, as they say, history. All right, feet on both pedals. There they go. Feet off the brakes. And Ginger Ninja jumps off into the lead momentarily. Kobayashi gets on the inside and too wide, forces Simon to go a tiny bit wide. Very little contact. And rubbing is racing, as they say, and certainly as Murcielago likes to say. So Justin takes the lead. And Splatter in the rocking chair. Airport Hobo looking for some way in. Not going to do it through the snake, probably. Simon's thinking he might find a way to pass. I think he got a little squirrely there and had to back off the pedal. And he's back on the flashers again, of course, around the corner. So that's probably just one of those artifacts of having a controller and having that flasher button so near to the stick. All right, into the first corner. Justin maintains that gap. And Mick D thought he had a way in on Airport Hobo, but the Hobo closed the door and hit him with his bindle. And Splatter has dropped to the rear now, looking for a way in on Mick, who has had a moment. Well, Splatter's looking for some way to get back up into third. Don't know how he lost it precisely, because I am unfortunately on my controller and not on my keyboard. So let's rectify that situation right now here. And Kobayashi Maru's got about a second lead on the rest of the pack, who, like in the previous race, are all having a big tussle. Ginger Ninja's got Airport Hobo all over him. And Mick D. Not Dundee comes into the snake with a narrow gap to Airport Hobo. So we have got a race. Splatter's also trying to find his way up to the rest of the pack. And he is ticking off the tents himself. Having a little bit of an issue getting through the snake at the moment. Don't know if he has dirty tires or what's going on. Somebody knocks over a cone. All right, everybody's through. I don't see a penalty, so the third lap is in the books. And everybody's still racing. Now, Splatter has dropped way back, seeming to have to readjust for some reason. And Ninja goes off, gets dirt on his tires. Airport Hobo says, "Oh, thanks for that, man." Going too wide through the snake. Risky, risky, risky move. But in that case, he had a wide open spot, and he took it. All right, so the Ninja drops to third. Still needs time to clean off those tires around the last curve, so he's going a bit wide. And now Mick is smelling P3. Taking all of that slipstream. Ginger goes defensive. Mick takes the outside. Makes it stick, at least for the moment, and he does all the way through. Tightens it up into the last half of the corner and makes that move stick. Excellent pass. And way to find the grip. I think Ninja's tires may have still been a little bit on the dirty, dusty side. So now Airport Hobo, through all that, has had time to size up and make his way to Justin's clackers. So now he's right on him. And he is having to close the vent so he doesn't smell all those fumes, as Justin goes very defensive into that first corner. But as we saw from the previous lap, that doesn't always work out. Although in this case, it really worked out well for Justin. That sent Airport Hobo very wide. Just took too big a bite of the apple and went off into the green. Never a good place in that corner. That corner is reminiscent of some of the offs you might have at Big Willow, where you will just slide for what seems like the rest of your life. So now it is a three-way race for the lead. And Mick D has found his way, and Airport Hobo is off again. This time scrapes a little wall, so now he drops to third. And Simon, if he hasn't had a moment, is probably salivating. A Splatter has come within a second now of Simon. So everybody is making their way toward the front. Everybody on the same lap, on the same curve. You'd love to see this, just less than a 4-second gap between first and fifth. This is a real race going on here. We're already 7 laps in. And man, does Jinja Ninja go wide there. All right, what do we have? Kobayashi Maru looking good in first place. I wouldn't call him comfortable. But Mick D drops the fastest lap now with a 52.6. Kobayashi Maru with a 52.7. So he is quick. Oh, Mick D is just about to kiss that bumper coming through the snake. He's playing it careful, playing it cautious. Look at that. Look at what he sees. Boy, if that doesn't make a man thirsty. Yeah, both drivers take that corner, I would say, perfectly. Let's get into Justin's eye line here. All right. The wing closes, and he gets a bit of a tag there from Mick. And Mick unrepentantly moves to the front momentarily, but Kobayashi Maru with a much better position. Boy, it looks like he tagged him again. With much better positioning, is able to keep that position. I don't know if he's tagging him or not. Let's see. Let's take a look behind us. He may just be trying to avoid it, and that's why he's dropping back so suddenly. Yeah, he seems to be having a rough time trying to make those moves stick. Let's go back onto race cam. Here we go. All right. Let's see what's playing out. It's kind of hard to judge. It probably looks worse than it is from that angle. But at the moment, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to dump the commentator's curse on anyone today. Let's just say it's a good race up front. Let's keep it going. And Mick is flashing around that corner. Wings close up. Wings open up. Round and round they go. And Mick D snatches it. He gets a superior line there, but Kobayashi Maru takes the different one. Now he's in first for the moment. Mick And Airport Hobo and Kobayashi Maru, a hell of a battle going here. As Kobayashi jumped a little bit to the inside and got a little slidey, a little twerky, a little Kim Kardashian-y. So he drops back to second, but still stuffed well into mixed slipstream. And there was 0.6 of a second as Airport Hobo goes off yet again. Goodness gracious. He's always so close to making a pass, and then something like that happens that drops him back. And what's happened to Splatter back here? Because he is very high up on the leaderboard right now. Yeah, very high up in the standings, and his chief competition is sitting right in front of him. So what Rob needs to do is he needs to run a clean race, bide his time, and maybe wait for the Hobo to make a mistake. We'll see. He's in his slipstream right now. Doesn't seem to be advantageous at the moment. So apparently he didn't get a great exit off the last curve, and now he's a second behind. But it is definitely now time to size up your competition and figure out how you can get in front of that guy so he doesn't steal your spot. All right, Mick is now 2 seconds ahead and pulling away. Kobayashi Maru's dropped the second, and with that mistake by Airport Hobo, that puts Simon on the final podium spot tentatively. While all this is going on, let's see if we have anything going on in the back. We don't. So good race on the straightaway. Man, what's happened to Mick D? He's dropped all the way back. What's happened, Mick? Did you have a massive pen? Airport Hobo is off again. What has that done for Splatter? Anything? No, I think he's had just as bad a moment as Airport Hobo did. Mercy, sakes alive. Let's see what happened there. Let's see if I can catch on replay what might have happened to Mick D. Let's get into his line of sight here. Oh, can't tell what happened. He must have just had a pretty big off. That's as far back as I can pull that replay. But coming out of the last curve, something slowed him down horribly. May have been a massive penalty from the look of it. He may have picked up a second or so. I guess we're going to have to find out when somebody publishes the replay. Hopefully I'm smart enough to remember to save it. So Kobayashi Maru back in the lead. Not by much. And Jinja Ninja, who had a horrible race 1, is now in the hunt on lap 14. So that gives us about 8-9 laps to go. So he and Justin and Mick's back up to third again, are sitting in the catbird seat with just a little under 8 minutes left in the race. And Jinja is looking spicy. No pun intended. Or was it? Hey, Stan Corin, how you doing, man? Matt MacGyver, how you doing? Go Bandits. Hey, guys. Ben, Matt, good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. Hi, guys. And go Bandits indeed. I think Bandit number 1, Airport Hobo, is having a day. I think he's loving this track in this car. Oh, but he is back with the pack. Here he comes. It doesn't matter how many times he gets off. It seems like Travis always finds a way back into the hunt. And he is well into the hunt. Yeah, I tell you what, it's a battle of the bandits now. Let's take a look here at the back with the Airport Hobo. And now with Mick D, not Dundee. Yeah, he's got his Bandits logo there on his wing. Let's see what it looks like in his mirror here. Oh boy, I tell you what, he's got, he has got to have a lot going on in his head right now, having to look at what's behind him and what's in front of him. As we have got a slipstream train going through the snake here. This is a very good look at the drama on track. I don't usually like chase cams, but boy, it's worth it for this. And oh, look at Ginger. Oh man, what's happened? It looks like Mick has caught a whole lot of curb. So he drops back to fourth, and the 10th is slipping away on the straightaway with that bad exit, which he makes up for in the first turn. That was a brilliant run through that corner, and it puts him right back in the hunt and right back up Airport Hobo's chuff. Thank you, Marky B. I think you should trademark that before I do. Like, if I run to the patent office before you, I get the money. Wow. Man, these boys came to race today. Unbelievable. Man, ever since the Bandits Club joined the group, I mean, we have seen some of the hottest racing this group has ever witnessed. Certainly, I, as a commentator, have ever witnessed. I don't know a season I've ever had this much fun, and we are so happy to see these guys. We've got Airport Hobo takes a little too much curb, and so does Ginger Ninja. So he has to drop back, and Airport Hobo snags his spot. Oh, this is a hot one. Now look at all that going on. Splatter's saying like me. And he jumps up to the back right behind the rest of the group. Ninja getting crazy. He is twerking harder than Cardi B. And with 4 minutes to go, our patient young friend Rob is back in the hunt within a second of that group of leaders and within 2 seconds of P1. So, can I just say, well done, sick boy. Says, oh, I feel sick. I'm not going to have a great race. Oh, come on, you sandbagger. Get in there. Get in there. Show us what you got, mate. Okay, he's got a penalty. Justin has picked up a half second. Justin, the penalty machine, has picked up a half second. This, if he is going to avoid getting past somewhere in the next lap, he is going to have to pour it on the straightaway. And it still might not be enough. This Airport Hobo just gave him a little poke on the inside, doing a little experimenting. Well, Justin very sportingly moves to the side, and that was a very Justin move indeed. So drops back to third. So the two bandits in the race today pick up the top 2 spots. Airport Hobo goes wide a little bit. Doesn't get as much of the green as he has in past runs through that corner. All right, so Airport Hobo is now drawing away from Mick. Albeit briefly, it looks like Mick is keeping up the pace and hanging quite well in there with his friend Travis. Oh man, who's off? Is that Kobayashi? Yeah. Kobayashi Maru had a vicious slide and went off into the gravel, possibly even the barrier. But let's take a look and see what happened to him, if we can. All right, coming around the last curve. He just grabs a little grass, and yeah, he just scrapes a little bit of the soft barrier. All right, so he's now down into P5, and Splatter has picked up P4 with 1.5 minutes to go. Airport Hobo's slowly widening the gap back to Mick. Mick now has a 4-second lead on Jinja, so he's had Probably a massive incident to have lost 3 seconds. Splatter now pretty comfy in 4th position. So that's some extra points for him if he can hold on. What he really needs to do is catch up with Simon and try to pick up P3. He needs all the points he can get. Easy for me to say. So 50 seconds to go. We're going to have one more lap. Just tend to run 23 here, I guess. So, on lap 22. I think they're all easily going to make it past the start-finish line and go around one more. Although I think, last lap. And fastest lap now for McD. And he goes into first. What happened to Hobo? Holy crap. Okay, boy, did I miss something important. Let's check it out here. See if we can find what happened. Nope, Hobo's already in second. Doggone it. I have been very slow on the replay button. Well, we'll have to work it out for the next weekly roundup. It won't be in this one coming up today, but it will be in next week's. So, final lap. Still the Bandits Club in the lead, going through the end of the snake here into the last curve, but Mick D has pulled out a rabbit from the hat. And he's not got a penalty. He's not got anything else. So Mick D finishes first with 0.8 of a second ahead of Airport Hobo. And Simon gives us a nice little 360 in celebration of his podium finish. Splatter hangs on for 4th. Kobayashi Maru for 5th. Nice load of points for all these gentlemen. So, well done, Mick. Well done indeed. Mick D, not Dundee, picks up P1, raises himself up from P4 all the way to the front. That was brilliant, my friend. Just brilliant. And guys, excellent race. Really fun to watch. I am not going to be able to do driver interviews after this because I have a previous engagement that I must attend to very quickly. So I want to give you all my best wishes and many thanks for a wonderful race. The guys on the chat, thanks for joining. Sven, Matt, Jinja, all you guys. Really appreciate it. So, cracking race. Great day for one. I hope the weather is as pleasant and beautiful where you are as it is on this track on this fictional day. Everybody have a great time, and I will talk to you on Monday.